It is 3 a.m., and you are staring at the ceiling again, replaying a conversation from 3 years ago or maybe 3 hours ago. You are dissecting the tone of voice, the micro-expressions, and the blatant gap between the words spoken and the energy behind them. You've been told your whole life that you are difficult, that you are the one who makes things complicated, or that you simply won't just let things go. In the family dynamic, they call you the black sheep. In the social circle, you are the one who ruins the vibe by pointing out the elephant in the room. But I want you to look at the hardware. You aren't broken, and you aren't a problem to be solved. You are running a high-resolution operating system in a world that is comfortable living in low definition. I'm Silas, and today we are looking at the neurobiology of the outlier. We are going to strip away the labels of shame and look at the actual data behind why your brain functions as a system auditor. You aren't a misfit. You are a Sentinel Intelligence designed to detect corruption in the human landscape. Let's start with the primary mechanism that makes you feel like an alien in your own living room. It's called high-fidelity signal processing. Most people navigate the world through a filter of social noise. They prioritize harmony over accuracy. Their brains are optimized for social cohesion, which is a polite way of saying they are wired to ignore lies if those lies keep the peace. Your brain doesn't have that filter. You possess what we call leaky sensory gating, but in a high IQ context, this becomes a superpower. You aren't just hearing words. You are processing the micro-tremor in a person's voice, the dilation of their pupils, and the inconsistency in their narrative. To the flock, this feels like social anxiety. To the rare mind, this is high-resolution radar. You aren't anxious because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because you're receiving 4K data in a room full of people who are content with static. This is the first pillar of the black sheep. You cannot unsee the truth, even when the truth is inconvenient. That brings us to the next layer of your internal hardware, which is your physical intolerance for cognitive dissonance. Your brain, however, views cognitive dissonance as a literal threat to your survival. When you see a gap between what someone says and what they do, your prefrontal cortex triggers an alarm. It feels like a glitch in the simulation. This is why you are labeled the troublemaker. You aren't trying to be difficult. Your brain simply cannot compute the shared delusion that the rest of the family uses to maintain homeostasis. In family systems theory, the group acts like a single organism. When that organism is toxic, it requires a scapegoat to hold all the discarded shame and shadow. By refusing to participate in the lie, you become a mirror. They don't hate you. They hate the reflection of their own dysfunction that you provide just by existing. But there is a deeper reason for your hyper-awareness, and it's rooted in your childhood survival metrics. If you grew up in an environment where you had to predict a caregiver's mood to stay safe, your mirror neurons are likely overclocked. This is what I call Sentinel Intelligence. While other children were learning how to play, you were learning how to read the atmospheric pressure of a room. You were analyzing the sound of a footstep or the specific way a door closed to determine if you were safe. This rewired your amygdala into a high-fidelity threat detection center. You didn't just develop empathy. You developed a tactical, hyper-vigilant form of empathy that allows you to sense a shift in someone's intent before they even realize it themselves. You are a truth detector in a world of performers. This isn't a burden. It's the result of a masterclass in survival that you never asked for, but one that has forged you into a specialized cognitive asset. This leads us into the concept of injustice sensitivity, which is a specific hardware trait often found in the outliers of the tribe. To the average person, a small unfairness is something to be tolerated for the sake of social standing. To you, it feels like a physical blow. When you see someone being bullied, or a system being rigged, or a lie being told to protect a person in power, your nervous system goes into a high alert state. This isn't drama or being sensitive. This is an evolutionary safeguard. Historically, the tribe needed individuals who prioritized justice over popularity, because those were the individuals who prevented the tribe from collapsing into internal corruption. Society tries to gaslight you into thinking this sensitivity is a flaw because it makes you harder to control. They want you to be compliant. Your brain is wired for sovereignty. That brings us to the reality of the internal locus of identity. Because you were rejected by the pack early on, you were forced to build your own foundation. Most people have an external locus of control. They need the group to tell them they are good, worthy, or correct. When the group withdraws its favor, they collapse. You, however, had to learn to survive without that validation. You built your own pillars of truth. This is what we call adaptive autonomy. You are self-governing. This makes you dangerous to manipulative systems because you cannot be bought with praise and you cannot be silenced by the threat of exile. You've already been in exile. You've already survived the cold. Once you realize that the pack's opinion has no actual bearing on your survival, you become the most powerful person in the room. You aren't seeking a seat at their table anymore. You are building your own laboratory. Let's look at the data on why they try so hard to pull you back into the flock. It's called homeostasis. A dysfunctional family or social group is like a thermostat set to a toxic temperature. When you start to heal, or when you speak the truth, you are effectively trying to change the temperature of the entire room. The system will react with change-back behaviors. They will use guilt, gaslighting, or the black sheep label to force you to return to your role as the scapegoat. If you are the one holding the shame, they don't have to look at their own. This is why your silence is often met with more aggression than your words. When you stop reacting, you stop providing the shame vessel they need. You become a mirror void. This is your ultimate tactical defense. The flock values politeness, which is just a polite word for performance. They value the mask over the soul. As a black sheep, you value authenticity over comfort. This creates a permanent friction point. You will always be too much for people who are too little. You will always be too loud for those who are committed to silence. But notice the shift in perspective. You aren't the one with the problem. They are the ones with the limitation. They are running a low-resolution version of reality because the high-resolution version is too painful for them to process. You are the one with the hardware capable of handling the truth. You are the kintsugi survivor, where every crack in your past has been filled with the gold of self-awareness. So here is your cheat code for navigating a world that wants to tame you. Stop explaining yourself. When you explain your boundaries, you are giving them a map of your vulnerabilities. You are treating them like they have the same OS as you, but they don't. They aren't looking to understand. They are looking to find a way back to the old balance where you were the problem. Instead, adopt the mirror void. When someone tries to project their shame onto you, give them nothing. No anger, no defense, no explanation. Just a calm, deadpan observation of the facts. If they call you cold, recognize that cold is just the word people use for someone they can no longer manipulate. Your detachment is not a lack of emotion. It's a strategic allocation of your energy. You are choosing to invest your data processing power in yourself, rather than in a system that is committed to its own dysfunction. You were born to be a system auditor. You are the one who sees the cracks in the foundation before the building falls. You are the one who remembers the truth when everyone else has agreed to the lie. This is a lonely path, yes, but it is the only path that leads to cognitive sovereignty. You aren't a broken member of the flock. You are the sentinel who walked away to find a better horizon. Your black sheep status is actually a badge of biological integrity. It means your brain refused to be rewired by a toxic environment. It means you kept your high-fidelity processing intact despite the noise. Put the hoodie on. Lean into the solitude. Stop asking for permission to be who you already are. The flock is heading toward the cliff, and your refusal to follow them isn't a failure of social skills. It's a triumph of survival intelligence. You have the hardware. You have the data. Now you just need to trust the OS. You are part of the wolf pack of solitude now. We don't need the validation of the flock because we have the clarity of the outlier. If you've realized that your defects are actually your specialized sensors, drop a in the comments. Let the other Sentinels know they aren't alone in the dark. For those who want to dive deeper into the hardware of the rare mind without the fluff, join our community. We are building a laboratory of the self, and you're already invited. You aren't broken, you are just rare. Stay observant, stay rare. Seal is out.